Good evening, Hobby World. Thanks for joining us live tonight for episode 34 of Personal Rips and Hobby Chat. Joining me is Ken from Beans B Card Blog, and I'm Herman, aka 3B Collections. We're here every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern to talk about our hobby and yours. Feel free to join into the conversation and chat. And also tonight we will post a link for anybody that wants to call in and join us. What's been going on, man?
Not much on the hobby front, man. I just been staying back from the social medias a little bit. Haven't been buying much. Just been going through a lot of cards to get stuff to either send off to consignment or, as the guy in the chat here, send to them.
Right.
A lot of bulk teams. I've got monster boxes sitting over here of stuff that will eventually be matriculating out to some of the hobby friends. That's about it.
I've kind of been doing the same thing. I've been pulling Cubs and Cardinals and Red Sox and Tigers and to go to their new home. So
interesting. It sounds like the same teams are pulling.
Probably
imagine that.
Probably going to the same. Probably going to the same place.
I'm sure.
But yeah. Let's see where we're going to start at tonight. Should I go ahead with my big news? I know a lot of people has asked me, and you already know it. So
go for it, brother.
So I've ever since I've been back in the hobby, I've always made the comment that when it comes to LCSs, I don't have one. Like, I'm 2 hours away from the closest anything near to being a card shop. Found out last week, and just by chance, that in my town there is a new hobby shop coming. Lake Hartwell Collectibles. Goes to be on the square, less than 2 miles from me. And I can't wait.
Good stuff. I mean, I see that they're doing, a wide range of things, and I feel like in a small town, that's probably, try to do some other things. I had one of my good friends used to own a shop in my hometown, and he sold a bunch of, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, something, and I kind of clowned on him, but he's like, dude, that stuff's paying the bills.
Yeah.
So,
he's going to do comics, cards, Funko, the Funko Pops, and some other various different kind of Disney toys and stuff like that. I said I was going to dig in and get a little more information before I announced this, but he's actually, I went to school with the guy. I graduated with him, played football with him. His name is Greg Gaines. He's a high school teacher now at the local high school, and he's a technology teacher. So he's big into graphic designs and videos and whatnot. And he actually designed an app for it's some kind of, like I said, I wanted to look into this more, but he designed an app for some kind of collectible toy. And that's kind of where this stemmed from. He's expanded into a brick and mortar type collectible store. And it's awesome. I can't wait to have somewhere to go and, shuffle through some cards and pick up something here and there, I haven't dealt with him in a long time. We kind of dealt with each other back in the 90s as far as trading cards. And I didn't realize that he was still in it, just like he didn't realize I was still in it until a few weeks ago. When I saw the post that the store was coming, I reached out to him. I'm like, man, congratulations. I'm excited. I can't wait to check it out, And he messaged me back. He's like, yeah, man. He said, I didn't know. He said, I didn't know until about 2 or 3 months ago that you were back in the cards. So, I'm sitting here thinking I'm the only person in my hometown collecting cards. Which, I knew that. I knew better than that because, my local Walmart stays sold out. So somebody in there is getting them. But
true.
I like I said, yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for it to open. He actually opens at the end of May. They're renovating the building now. So, but that's it's Lake Hartwell Collectibles. He's on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm not sure what all platform he's on. I know I follow him on Twitter and Facebook, but
yeah, I went and followed him on Twitter too when you told me about it the other day. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how he goes about it. What kind of space does he have? And then if you're doing, comics, Funkos, whatever. I don't remember what else he said. I think he said he had 4 things on there, cards and something else. It'll just be interesting to see how he kind of divvies up the space. And, we talked about between the last show and then we talked about on Roundtable. A lot of people like to have the bulk boxes you dig through. Does he do that? Does he just focus on wax, which I think will be very difficult for a new shop to do?
Yeah, and that was one of the. I want to reach out to him and talk to him and just kind of pick his brain about how he's going to go about the sports car part of it. And it's like I said, it said collectibles, Funko, toys, and souvenirs. But like you said, I mean, like the wax part of it and even the supplies. I mean, I'd be interested to see. I mean, does he have a line on something that he can get? Does he have stuff stashed up? What he's doing. What I'm hoping I don't walk in there and see a whole bunch of retail that he's been hoarding up from Walmart.
Yeah, there is that because obviously that for everyone you sell, you rub somebody the wrong way when you're doing that. So it'll be interesting to kind of how that all materializes when you get in there the first time. And maybe it's something where the cards area is smaller now just because you can't get wax and it's tougher to get top loaders. And then maybe as we potentially see some return to normalcy, maybe he's able to get into that just a little bit better.
Yeah. And I do know that back in the early 90s that there was 2 families. There was his family and then there was one other family, but it was funny because they was almost identical. It was 2 brothers and a daddy that was big time into collecting, and the daddy would take the kids around and they would actually do shows like these small hotel shows and stuff like that. So, and like I said, he was one of them. And I don't know if this is just him or, him and his brother and his daddy or what it is. And funny enough, actually, his brother is the principal at the local high school that he works at. His younger brother is the principal. So, I can't express enough how excited I am to actually have somewhere to go. So I'm going in.
Just be careful. Just be careful. Don't get too excited.
With an open mind, I'm going to be open-minded and But yeah, that's
like I said, he's was exciting, good to see him pop up rather than fade out. And even if in your case, even if it's not all you hope it is, hopefully it's still something that's worth or justifies going in a couple times a week or once a week or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, it's like my wife's like, well, there goes the paycheck because I drive by the place twice a day, once going to work and once coming in. So
it might be more than once a week.
Exactly. But yeah, and the thing is, he's actually going to be running 2 separate businesses out of one building. The building is like it has like a ground floor and an upstairs, and he does. I told you he does like graphic design, video, and such as that. His Peach State Media is going to be the other entity that's going to be running out of the same building. So I feel like it's one of those things where if one doesn't do as well, the other make and carry it to where it doesn't necessarily just fade out after a couple of months if it don't make it. So
there was I don't know. I mean, it probably still is, but up by my office, although I haven't been to my office in over a year. There was a gentleman and it was in a, what do you call, what am I trying to say? Oh, like an industrial park where he had like a commercial building company and he put a little card shop just with a few cases right in the front of his. So definitely a good way to go about it. You can break down the or not have quite the high overhead. But yeah, good. Like you said, if one's struggling, hopefully one's doing well enough to cover the other, and vice versa.
Yep.
So I did want to comment on something. I think it was Diego. Noticing the card shows look like Target and Walmart aisle end caps. And yeah, I do agree. So I shared on Twitter, and I share a lot of YouTube videos. I don't know if you guys saw the one from Sports Card Radio. Was for the weekend. He went to a show out there, and he just videoed walking around. I mean, that place was freaking butts to nuts. I had anxiety just looking at it. Like, there were times he couldn't even get through the aisle. It was so ridiculous, and it definitely makes me wonder how this Dallas show is going to look at the end of the month. Now, granted, it's not in as small of a room; it's in a bigger area. But oh man, my anxiety just watching that was like through the roof.
Yeah,
and every table was the same. Going back to the egg, that pretty much
every table was hangers and blasters from Topps Chrome to Prism and.
Zion, Jordan, Tatis, and Justin Herbert. That was all you saw.
Yeah. Yep. It's like I said, the show I went to in Spartanburg last December was the exact same way. It was like it was nothing but just retail blasters and hangers and fat packs and. There was a couple tables that had hobby wax, so which was a little refreshing to see. But I honestly think that stuff's starting to die down.
I haven't paid enough attention to it, so I honestly couldn't tell, or I couldn't tell you. It'd be interesting to see what some of the other guys thinks. Imagine the hygiene of that crowd collectively. It's in California, and it's in California too. So take that however you like. Right. You know where I stand on that.
Yeah, it's but and the reason I say I feel like it's dying down, or at least around here, is because my wife was in our local Walmart on a Saturday, which it's restocked on Fridays around lunchtime, and. When she was in there, she's like, well, when she was checking out, she looked over to the card aisle and it was like just packed. They had the Topps 10s, they had soccer, they had what was the other one that was there?
Upper Deck Series 2 hockey.
it was, yep, Upper Deck Series 2 hockey and Heritage blasters. And she's like, do you need anything or do you want anything? And I'm like, I said, well, what do they have? And she was telling me, I was like, no, I've got plenty of Heritage, and no, I don't want any Topps. I've already got my sets. And unless I could find the Ronald Acuna 10, I would take that. But just to have the 10, I wouldn't want it. And then she was telling me, she's like, well, there's Upper Deck Series 2 hockey, and I'm like, I think I'm kind of over, opening hockey if I'll just buy what I want. Because I'm collecting one team and that's it, and I've already got a stockpile of baseball and stuff that has built up around here. I don't need to start stocking up on hockey that I don't want either. So,
but what I detected in the what I found the commonality amongst the things you said were there was those are the they're the low end. They're the one that people have been saying it's ridiculous that these are selling out, and it does make you wonder if maybe it's not over. It's just over from the standpoint that they are being a little smarter, and there's so much Series 1 out there, so much Heritage out there. Upper Deck hockey again.
But at least they're leaving it on the shelf now.
Yeah, what I'm getting at is maybe they're just getting a little more selective. You're still not going to go out there and find select basketball and stuff like that, Prism football. So maybe those flip vesters are actually smartening up just a little bit, which sucks. I want to see them lose.
Yeah, and I don't know. Plus, too, the vendor may have got there late. They may not have got there till Saturday.
I mean, that's possible as well.
She may have just walked right behind him and just didn't realize it, But I've never known her to be there on a Saturday. It's usually like clockwork, or I say she is usually always there between 11 and 12 on Friday. And there's usually always a line, and I usually walk right on by and don't fool with it.
Yeah, I mean, entirely possible. I mean, since last March, I've probably been into a Walmart with cards or a Target, not even a handful of times. We do our groceries. We do grocery pickup
Mm-hmm.
through the Walmart. We've done yogurt and stuff like that. Yeah, I've only been in just a couple of times, and of course, the couple times were a while back, and shelves were empty. But yeah, I still not really going out that much, even though I've got my second shot, and I'm in the clear.
Yeah. So another thing I've got going on, I wanted to put out there real quick was a new binder project that I've started, and I never really considered them binder projects, but I think George got me started on that lingo as far as calling them binder projects. Of course, I always had the Braves ones that I had been working on, which I added a good deal to this week, thanks to a couple of guys on Twitter. But the other one, I'm trying to pull it up here, is here we go. Is I couldn't even begin to tell you where I got the idea from. I just sat here one day and thought about it. But I've started a list of every pitcher that Freddie Freeman has hit a home run off of. Which, I mean, Freddie Freeman is my main PC player, which I'm sure everybody on here knows. But I started the list. I've got the list of all the pitchers that he's hit home runs off of since his rookie year. And I went back and started collating the card for each pitcher that for that year, if they had a card of that year. If not, I had to drop back a year or jump up a year. So I can't wait to get that one started. But like I said, I want to wait until I have all the collating cards for it. So
I thought you were going to say start a binder project of guys that have thrown 7-inning no-hitters.
Do what?
The 7-inning no-hitters. That was all I saw last night on Twitter.
Oh, they're having a fit. And, and I kind of agree. I mean, if MLB has set the game to be 7 innings and the pitcher goes 7 innings with a no-hitter, it should be classified as a no-hitter. I mean,
I'm indifferent because I've also saw the argument that no, it shouldn't be, because what if you throw 9 no-hit innings and in the 10th inning you give up a hit? There's so many ifs, ands, or buts, it looks like, because I've seen so many arguments. I don't pay enough attention or think enough that I sit there and I'm going to get into any of them. I just watch them. But I've seen solid arguments on both sides of the fence.
Yeah. And well, yeah, I'm with you, because some of them said, there's been thousands of pitchers or hundreds of pitchers through the years that's went 7 innings in a 9-inning game with no hitters and lost it in the 8th and 9th inning. So who's to say that had they played one more inning that he wouldn't have lost it anyway? But and at the same time,
what about haven't there been some that, maybe I'm wrong, but like they threw 8 no-hit innings and played 9th the rain or something, or something weird like that, where they didn't get the full game in and they threw a no-hitter, but they didn't get credit for it because the game didn't go 9 innings. So yeah, I don't know.
Because of a rain delay or something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. But it's like there was something outside of that game that the Diamondbacks right fielder was going after a foul ball that was just, it literally was only about 3 foot over the wall. And there's a kid sitting there in the corner, and they showed it on TV, but the kid he's sitting in his seat, doesn't get up, doesn't reach over the wall. He's sitting in his seat. He just puts his glove up. Well, the outfielder goes to make the catch and hits his glove, and he don't make the catch. The kid catches the ball. Without the Diamondbacks outfielder, I can't remember what his name was. He just looks at the kid. He's like, okay, and just puts his fist out for a fist bump, like, congratulations, whatever. And I found out later that the guy went back the next inning and went and talked to the kid and was like, was joking around with him, told him his Instagram was about to blow up because he interacted with him. He says, my TikTok's already blowing up. But there was people crazy. When they posted that and they was talking about the sportsmanship that he showed, giving the fist bump to the kid. I mean, this kid might have been 12 years old. And there was people on there that was butthurt because the kid put his glove up and caught the ball over the wall. It's it said that it ought to be ruled interference. Well, the kid's sitting in the seat that he his parents paid for him to sit in. It ain't like he jumped up and reached over the wall and interfered with him.
Yeah, like with that Jeffrey Meyer, I think was his name, the kid with the Orioles and Yankees back in the 90s, where he actually reached over and caught one.
Well, the same thing happened with the Braves and the Yankees. 94, I think. 94. Jeter was actually playing in the outfield, and he hit. Jeter hit. Jeter was hitting. That's what it was. Jeter was hitting. The ball goes to the outfield. Some guy reaches over the wall and catches the ball right before it comes down. Could have been played infield. It got ruled that it was a home run. Jeter knows, he knew that he had gotten lucky with that play. Seeks the guy out and buys him tickets for the remainder of the World. I forget if it was a World Series or what was it? I can't remember. Anyway, but bought him seats for the remainder of the games.
Jeez,
kind of like his personal guest.
People are going to get mad no matter what, even if the kid's in the stands like he's supposed to be. What are you going to do? It's baseball.
All right. Well, I'm going to you got anything else you want to hit on real quick?
I do not.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the YouTube shout-outs.
Oh, hey, yeah. Forgot about that.
And I'll let you go ahead.
So mine, and I know we've tried to, what we've been wanting to do is highlight some guys with some lower sub counts, but this channel has 812 subs. He's got 327 videos, but he is one of my favorite YouTube channels because I admire how he collects, what he collects. Sconnie Tradition. I don't know how many of you may follow that channel already, but he is in Wisconsin. He is a Green Bay Packers collector, and then that's his big number one is Packers, and then also obviously Bucks, Brewers, some of those. But just a fun channel. Shows a lot of vintage, works on a lot of projects like Green Bay Hall of Famers. He's working on. I believe his goal is a graded rookie, and then a certified slabbed autograph rookie. To match it. Just stuff like that, and he doesn't collect like a lot of us that maybe are lower end. He keeps a very tight collection. He probably spends the same amount of money as some of us do, but he keeps it real tight, and it's a fun to kind of follow his journey and see the things that he buys. So that is my shout out for the week.
All right. Well, I actually stumbled up on mine yesterday afternoon. No, not yesterday afternoon. Yeah, yesterday afternoon. And surprisingly, I had reached out about the Braves binder project that I was working on and was trying to finish up the 2000s. And I posted my list, and Justin Schaefer had on Twitter, he is Charm City Graphs. He reached out and said, "Hey, I've got 40 of the 35 or 40 of these cards that you get on your list. How how can I get them to you? And which I wouldn't follow him at the time on Twitter. And when I went to his Twitter, I realized he had a YouTube channel, and it is it's Charm City Autographs on YouTube. And he actually has a show that he started about a month ago called the That Hobby Show. It's him and his buddy Houston, which is at Chasing the Graph on Twitter, and they talk about everything from minor league baseball to both of them do through the mail autographs. So they show their autographs. And Dan, if you're still in here, you'll like this. He is also a big KBO collector. So it's just I went back and watched several of his videos the last couple of days, and he's got good content. I enjoy seeing some of his KBO cards too. Surprisingly enough, I've never thought I would get into them, but not enough to where I'd want to collect them. But seeing some of the stuff that you don't see here, which I know Dan. Oh, so Dan knows who he is then. Okay, cool. You're muted.
I said, yeah, I thought I'd seen him interact on Twitter before. I forgot I was muted. I was just letting you go. But yeah, he yesterday he did a video. He showed off a bunch of autographed mini helmets that he has.
Yeah, his mini helmets.
It was either last week or the week before they were doing their show, and I thought they could have spent more time on it, but I love the topic. It was where I've talked about before, like where does some of the people in the hobby find the time to do all they do? And I thought they could have gone longer on that than they did, but I thought it was a really good topic. So yeah, I agree. He's a good follow.
Yeah, but that's his Charm City Autographs, and like I said, I got the package from him today, which was funny enough. Like I said, when I found out he had a YouTube channel, and I was looking through it, and then when I got them, I was like, well, I'm gonna just combine the mail day and my YouTube shout out all in one. So
easy enough. I did a mail day video that I posted like an hour before we came on.
Yeah,
so if anybody wants to check that out. Well, I only posted it around 6:00.
I was gonna say I started watching it, and then I got to sorting cards, and I got away from it. Let me get this off. Yeah, here we go. So, but all right.
Speaking of interviews with former minor leaguers, I know Dan had, I believe it's a guy in the KBO. I can't remember. Is it like Deck McGuire or something? I think you had on a few weeks ago, but then it was just funny. I was in a Wikipedia rabbit hole the other day and came upon his name. It's kind of like how somebody said small world. It was kind of a small world on that because I don't know that I recalled hearing his name before, when you did that interview with him or chat with him, whichever you want to call it. But yeah, I was going through like first round draft picks of the MLB and saw that he was an MLB first round pick and said, oh yeah, that's the guy Dan was talking with. It's funny how it all cycles through.
Right. But I had made the comment on Twitter that I was going to do this tonight, so we'll go ahead and do it now. I'm going to post a link in the chat for the channel, and if anybody wants to jump on for a few minutes, feel free. We'll let you in, and we'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, or keep talking about what we're talking about. So, all right, I got it posted.
Or yell at me, whatever you want to do.
Oh, yeah, fuss at Ken, whatever you want to do. But if not, we'll go on with what we're doing here. But there it is again. I hope it works. We'll see.
So before I really started the website and did the Twitter account and all, I super collected an NHL player named Andrew Shaw, and kind of lost probably about 5 years ago. Kind of lost some interest in it because A, when I moved down here, I didn't get to see all the Blackhawks games anymore unless I paid for the NHL package. And then B, he got traded away to Montreal, and then he ended up coming back. But I'm going to do a video here. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow. My top 10 cards is because he announced his retirement today from the NHL. 29 years old and had to retire because of concussions. So,
Dang.
Yeah, it sucks. Like I said, I hadn't really done that much of the collection because I only have a handful of his Montreal cards. I don't care. I don't like the Montreal Canadiens. But, yeah, so I went through and pulled some of these out today, and I'm going to do a top Shaw and Kane, Patrick Kane dual autograph.
What is it?
That's Shaw, and then Patrick Kane's, but at least I have Patrick Kane autograph. Oh, JT wants to come yell at me.
All right, we're gonna let him do
what else I got? So I got an Andrew Shaw autograph, and then what was cool is on the side, Jared Roenick, who was my favorite hockey player as a kid. So that was one of my favorite cards. My favorite current player, my favorite player's kid. Get off my lawn, JT.
Hey, I'm here to yell at you, man.
Welcome in, JT.
That's it for me. How's it going, guys?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Hanging in there.
What you got to yell at Ken about?
Nothing.
Stanley Cup Finals net skirt. Sorry. Go ahead.
I can yell at him about his hockey consignment because his electric ice cards are probably one of the hottest items in the store right now. There are so many of them that have sold. It's this random insert.
Did you sell a bunch more today? I've seen about a half dozen or so of them over the last few days.
Yeah, it's just like one every day, but I'm just thinking, like, who is buying this? Like, I don't know. I've never met anyone who, like, I have other hockey stuff in the store. No one ever touches it, but Ken brings in the electric ices, and they're the hottest thing going.
Well, the reason I have so many of those, at one time I had lofty aspirations of actually putting that set together.
Makes sense.
And I was like, I started to see some of the prices on some of the superstars, and I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do this. I'm going to allocate my hobby funds elsewhere. Hey, that looks like a new setup for you. I don't remember seeing those boxes off to the side before. Yeah,
I've been trying to do something a little bit new. So as I get enough cards for each team, I'm trying to get like individual boxes for each team. So it's growing, but the thing is that these boxes are like $4 a piece. So I'm looking at like $100 for all the baseball teams. I don't really want to drop that on cardboard boxes. I have no problem dropping it on smaller pieces of cardboard, but when it comes to larger pieces of cardboard to hold smaller pieces of cardboard, then I have an issue. But
well, I was telling Herman, because as you know, I'm sending some stuff to him as well, kind of spreading it out between the two of you. I'm running out of the smaller card boxes that I ship everything in. I thought I had enough last rest of my life because another local collector, he had given me, hundreds of them, but I'd say maybe 50% of them were 200 count or less. So now I'm down to the little 200 and 100 count boxes, and I'm starting to hurt. And as we all know, the prices of the cardboard boxes are going up as well.
Yeah, they get going quick. I was in the same boat when I started trying to move out some of my bulk baseball. And when I first started, I had what I thought was plenty to move what I wanted to move. But once I started doing it, they started getting going quick. And I even, on a couple of times, I even got down to where I had to take sets out of them and set them to the side to use the box and just until I could get more to put them back in. So
I'd have a bunch of like random monster boxes that were empty that I've gotten rid of. But I think I've gone through all of those too. And I'm definitely starting to hurt. So one or both of you, when I send my next consignments off, are going to be getting a whole bunch of 100 count boxes inside those priority mail boxes. You're welcome.
That's good.
Hey man, I'll use them. I've got 550s for days here between you and some of the others too. But my LCS only has like the big ones. Like, unless you want to get an 800 card, like 800 count one, forget about it. I need to get the small one.
So
how's the 72 project going along?
For me, it's going slow. I've actually got bids on two high number lots on eBay right now. I'm hoping they hold up. If they do, one of them has 15 in it that I need, and the other one has 15 of the 25 that's in it are ones that I actually need, and the other one has seven of the 10 are cards that I need. So I'm hoping that my bid holds up. I'm not comfortable going any higher. I went ahead and put my max bid in, which was probably a mistake, but they end kind of late at night, and then I'm not going to be up to try to snipe no bid at 3 o'clock in the morning here.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I feel like I'm trying to get to a couple of shows that I hope that I can pick up some at. I've reached out to some people that I've gotten some before and let them know that, if when they got any more to, keep me in mind. And so it's one card at a time. Them high numbers are a bitch. It's kind of like the SPs on the 21 Heritage.
Yeah, I mean the good thing about the SPs, I think this year is that when you have like the crappy players who are the high numbers, that it makes like you don't have to pay like $20 for the trout. So if you're a set builder, that probably helps. But I think it's more fun and more challenging. Like when they put the stars, like I'm not a big fan that you can tell that the checklist isn't very good for the short prints because there's like 5 tigers on it. So that just shows you that they're bringing in all the scrubs for to fill out their checklist. But like 2020 was brutal. Like it was all big names in the.
Yeah, I know. I was telling Ken before we came on that my 2020 Heritage, I'm still, I think, 25 short of the SPs. I'm finishing just the low series.
Yeah, they're tough.
All right, T, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
All right.
What's the Mickey count?
The Mickey count is 2893. I got in 2 today. One of them I have in a box I got to dig out, but this was actually sent to me as a gift by someone else. So you know how they always have those.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
They always have like the random team sets at like Target because they don't have anything else to put on the shelves. So this guy down in Miami, who I've gotten to know through subbing with PSA, saw this and he's like, hey, let me know in the next 10 minutes if you need this. So this has him on the front, and the team sets have different like card numbers, like you can see on the back here. So this one is this one's DT1 rather than being card 250 in the set. So technically it's a different card, and you pretty much have to buy the team set because nobody is crazy enough to just list the singles on eBay. Like I've never seen. All the ones I own were sent as the team set. So he got a hit today. He's at 2870, I believe, on his hit counter.
That was my next question. So you're a little ahead of him. But yeah, I was gonna say maybe that's a sales opportunity. Bust that bad boy and just list the other ones on there.
That's the plan, and we'll see if anybody's interested. But I don't know how many people are fiending for Mike Pelfrey team-issued cards, but we'll find out, I guess.
It only takes his mom wanting one. That's all it takes.
You're right.
So with the Mickey stuff you need, and I know I have a link to your checklist. Are there a lot of like lower end, or is it pretty much everything now is just a higher end where it's it's a slow accumulation unless a new set comes out?
That's a really good question. And in theory, it should be a lot of lower end stuff still. Like you have a lot of relics that are numbered to 100 or 250. You have a lot of parallels that are numbered to like 50 or 100. And that kind of stuff, you think like maybe $10 a card. The problem is that people don't really list those. Like people, they just sit in boxes or they're in wax somewhere sealed away still. So that's really been the problem. And a lot of the newer stuff too, because there's more of it produced, which means the parallels are tougher, which means not as much of it's getting open because it's not worth it for a lot of people. There's not as many singles. Like the Memorial Day camo, I think I've seen one of them from 2021, and it went for over $100, and I paid $25 for mine in 2020, so I'm not paying that. It's not worth it. So that's what I'm running into more so. This has probably been my slowest month doing it since I started, but it's a good opportunity to enjoy what I have.
And then I guess anything that sells on ComC wouldn't get to you before he hit 3,000 anyway, so it doesn't even count at this point.
Yeah, that name is banned in this household. We don't talk about them anymore. I don't do business with them.
I don't blame you.
So JT, I can't answer this, but Diego was asking if you do just base cards on your consignment, or do you do what is it, JT? Where's it?
The comments. Oh, I can read the comments now. Oh yeah, do I only do consignments?
Yeah, he wanted to know if they were only based in eBay.
For the most part, that's like my central hub. But there are certain things I like to put up on My Slabs, which is kind of like one of those newer sites. It's not as robust as eBay, I would say, and it has a smaller audience. But it's nice because you can get away with lower fees. I'll post stuff on like Twitter or Blowout or Facebook from time to time. I'll post, I set up at shows from time to time as well. So I like to bring that stuff with me there. But for the most part, for the lower end stuff, I just keep it on eBay, just because if I spent too much time putting it in a bunch of different places, then all of a sudden it doesn't really become worth the squeeze. But it just kind of depends on what it is.
Right.
And then when a player gets hot, if you got it multiple places, you may sell it multiple places.
That's very true. You run the risk of a player hitting like 3 home runs in a night, and you're selling it in all 3 places, and then you're in a pickle.
I can
always tell who's hot. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I can tell who's hot by going through JT's sold listings.
No kidding, because like on the I've made this joke to someone, I forget who it was. I said my Carlos Rodon stock in terms of cards and my Joe Musgrove inventory looks like the card section at Target. Like there's just nothing there anymore because people all came in at once, cleaned it all out, and they're on their way.
I noticed John Means has been selling over the last couple days.
He has, man. He's hot. He's everybody. You must have been pumping him too hard on Twitter because everybody's getting on the John Means train these days.
Yeah, it's always, like I said, it's interesting because I don't follow a lot of the sports anymore, so it's always interesting to see what you've been selling. Obviously, I'm looking to see what you've sold of mine, but I'm looking to see what has sold, period. It's always interesting. I remember when you made the Twitter Byron Buxton post a couple weeks ago and sold a bunch of those in one day. Yeah, it'll be funny when I'll see somebody and you look and they all purchased them at the same time. So you're like, okay, this guy just cleaned out these 12 cards all together. It's always fascinating to me, but I'm easily amused. So what are you going to do?
It's fascinating to me as well. I'm right there with you, and that's really how I know if something's going on in baseball. Like when I had no idea that Rodon had a perfect game until the 9th inning started, because all the stuff started to sell, and I thought, this is really weird. Something must be going on right now. Like, what did he throw a no-hitter? Did he like get into some kind of accident? I'm just like, what is going on? So I have to go check. But
do you get the notifications on your phone when you sell something, or do you just get them through email?
I get them through email, so it can be annoying sometimes if you get like a bunch of them, because if someone buys like 60 cards all at once, then you get 60 emails all at once to show everything. But
better through the email than on your phone.
Yeah, I would rather have the 60 emails than not have like any emails at all, because that means that there's no sales. But
yeah, I kind of had the same thing back the first game that when Atlanta played the Rays, which Atlanta gave up Duvall last year or this year, and the Rays picked him up. Well, last year during the postseason, Duvall got pretty hot with his bat. I mean, hitting. I think he had consecutive 3 home run games and such. Well, I had bought a bunch of his his Chrome rookie cards, Bowman Chrome, and I put put 2 of them on eBay just to try to recoup some of the money that I spent on them, which wasn't that much. But they sat there. They sat there all winter. They sat there all spring. Never sold the first one. Well, his first game against Atlanta, he popped, I think, 2 home runs. And next thing I know, both of them are gone. They sold just like that. You know, it's like, okay, well, I'll sit on it for 6 months and then they sell. Well, I had 10 other ones, and I mean, he wasn't in a Braves uniform in the cards in his rookie cards, so I didn't really care to hold on to him for my PC. So I'll put the rest of them on eBay. I made one more listing and had listed a quantity of 10, sold all of them in 2 days. I was like, okay, whatever.
I have a feeling that whenever the Rays pick up someone that someone else lets go, you got to kind of like think to yourself, like, all right, what did we miss with this guy? Because they always seem to pick up like the most unsuspecting players, and then they become superstars every single time.
Yeah, because Atlanta kept Mizuno, which, I mean, I love Mizuno. He's a great player, but honestly, he hadn't done anything this year. But Adam Duvall leaves Atlanta and goes to the Rays, and he's turned it up over there. It's like, did we keep the wrong player that they should have? Am I froze?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
But yeah, it's almost like we kept the wrong player. But I mean, that's kind of happened in reverse a few times too, where we've picked up somebody that was hot and they got to Atlanta and it's like cold as ice. So, and it happened.
You guys,
all of them.
You guys managed to somehow convince Ronald Acuna Jr. to sign an 8-year, $100 million deal. So,
I don't know.
I think you guys are doing okay. You're going to come out ahead on most things.
I still don't know how they did that. But
Diego.
I was going to ask you that.
Okay, I started like getting serious with it in May 2019. That's when I like started counting. The first time I said I'm going to collect them was I want to say summer 2014, because I bought my first like big card on my own, like more when I'd spent over $100 on my own in the summer of 14. And it was like a huge deal. Like I remember like waiting out by the mailbox. Like I'm not saying that figuratively, like no, literally waiting out by the mailbox to get the card that day because I was so excited. And then I just got in football, I'm a Lions fan, and it tends to kind of sour your view on football and collecting football cards when your team sucks that bad for so long.
You got a good quarterback.
Not anymore.
Oh, yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. Yep.
So I kind of got I felt like I was wasting my money on all these Lions guys who just never panned out. And then our prospects, our rookies, we always traded them away back in the day when we were good. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and stick with a guy who has won the Triple Crown and has gotten it done, and I have memories with. So that's how it started, and then it just kind of got more and more crazy from there.
All right.
How many more years do you think he's got?
He said he plans to play out the rest of his contract, which he's got 2 years after this one. So I guess he's going to play out the rest of his contract. I don't know. I'll take his word for it. I don't see why he wouldn't. But is my collection focused? Yeah, I would say so, because I get tempted a lot to like expand into different things. And when I do that, like I picked this up the other day. Say Acuna, this is the refractor variation. So he's hitting a home run on one knee there. I think it looks really cool. SGC 9.5, which these are not the easiest grade because a lot of them have print marks and they're probably like one per case. So I just picked that up because I thought it was a good deal and it's a cool looking card. I do that from time to time, but it's listed for sale right now. It's just really jacked up, and I'm not going to take anything that I don't want for it. But Miggy's like the only one where it's not listed for sale, and no, you can't buy it unless I really, really, really need the money. But that's only happened one time.
You still have your $1 Mickey Mantle, don't you?
I do have that. In fact, I have it right here.
I didn't realize it was good in arms. Guys, chat, you guys are asking some great questions. This is fun. I love super collector chats. I've seen some guys on YouTube and some podcasts where they just interview different guys that have their super collections, and fascinates me.
Yeah, if anybody else is backstage, feel free to knock me out here, but this was a $1 card. It wasn't slabbed, but
it wasn't slabbed. Okay,
yeah, but it was still $1.
But $1, yeah, no, I can't even remember the story on that, but I know obviously I remembered of it, but I couldn't remember the story.
So there's this comic shop that I probably hadn't been to in 8 years at that point, because they used to like have a lot more cards, but they've gotten more into like comics and then like the trading card games. So you get like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and all those. And they have a very small card section. So I was looking through them, and he said, I've got this box of stuff I haven't, put out yet to price. And it's got like everything in there. It's got modern, it's got vintage, and there's really no rhyme or reason to any of it. And those are my favorite types of boxes. So he's got this Miggy, it's pattern 7 from 17 High Tech, which those are probably like 1 or 2 per case. So they're not easy, but it looks like a regular base card. And then he's got this 57 K-line in there, and then he's got this mantle. So I give him these cards, and I'm like, what would you like for these? And he goes like, quarter on this one for the Miggy. I'm like, yeah, that's going to work. And then he says like, I don't know, like $3 for this K-line. I'm like, okay, I'll take a K-line for $3. And then he gets to this one, and he just stops. And I'm like, oh no, he's going to tell me something ridiculous, but I just got to ask. And he's like, it's pretty beat up. It is mantle, but it's pretty beat up. I mean, it's got creases on the back and everything, but it's pretty good looking too, I would say. And he says, $1. And I'm like, I'll take it. I'll take it off you for $1. So
I don't care how beat up that card is. Any collector that would not pay $1 for that card in one piece needs to get the hell out of the hobby.
So I couldn't resist. I said I gotta slab it up, and I was just hoping that it wasn't like recolored or trimmed or something. I said if it gets a 1, that's fine. If it's authentic, that's fine. When I came back at 2, I'm like, okay, that's perfectly fine for me. So,
oh yeah,
it's probably got to be. Is that got to be your best deal ever you found?
Yeah. I mean, a 100%, or I guess it would be 100% would be doubling. So it's like a 10,000%.
Yeah.
Markup in price.
I'm a data analyst, but I let the spreadsheets do the numbers. I just know that's like a really big number.
Yeah.
Yeah. George says he spent over $100 on a card. It wasn't even a complete card. So
I've done that as well. My 54K line is a total beater, and I'm pretty sure there's a little chunk of it missing. But yeah. Do I have competition? I've actually had more competition, and the bad thing about showing my stuff sometimes is that it gets people thinking, and that's exactly what they start thinking. They're like, man, this guy's undervalued. If I want some of his cards, I should go buy them now. And then all of a sudden you start having competition. So there are some, I would call them whales out there who can definitely, they can throw down $20 on a card. I'll throw down $20 on a card, and then they'll throw down 1,000, and I'll have to say, okay, it's yours. But I just do my best and enjoy it. I have the best collection that I can make for myself, and that's how I kind of view it.
So around the turn of the century, so back around 99, somewhere 98 to 2002-ish, somewhere there abouts. So my uncle that had gotten me into card collecting, he was a Ryan Klesko super collector before I knew what a super collector was. Well, apparently there were 3 Ryan Klesko super collectors. And all three of them had some pretty deep pockets. And these guys were turning $5 cards into $100 cards because all three needed them. These were the early days of eBay. And, before eBay, you were limited by what you could find. Not everybody was listing everything. So it was it your LCS, or if you were on AOL or something like that, you might have some opportunities. But yeah, those guys put out some stupid numbers on those. And again, that was Ryan Klesko. That wasn't Miggy. And again, I knew that you had some competition because I've seen a lot of your videos as you've talked about your pickups, and then you've managed to pick up some from another super collector who was selling off the collection. So
yeah, I actually have a follow-up to that. This is probably one of the more heartbreaking things I've heard from this dude before. So I have 2 superfractors back behind me there that I had bought off of him to help him fund another superfractor that he really wanted. And it's the Finest Flashbacks one, which I'm sure a lot of people here watching probably really like that. From what I've seen, it's pretty much like universally praised for Finest Flashbacks. And he wanted the superfractor of that, so he spent all this money to get the gold. He wanted to be the first one who get the gold, get the black, get the red, and then this guy on Blowout has the super, and he wants like $1,000 for it, which the most I've ever paid for one of my supers is $350, and that was for a pretty, I guess, a nicer one. Like the only autographed superfractor I've ever seen went for like $490, so double that for this card. And now this guy has put him at the point where he will only sell the entire rainbow. So he sold me those 2 cards to fund this other card. And now this dude's basically like, hey, you're going to have to pay me for this red that you already have, this black that you already have. So that to me I feel terrible for him. I offered him to buy him back for what he sold them to me for, but he said no.
Well, you definitely have a superfractor that I'd be interested in seeing. So,
oh yeah, let me grab it for you here. It's I picked this up just because this was actually supposed to be part of a trade with another Freeman collector, which I gotta say he's probably one of the most collected guys that I never hear people talk about, because I know so many different Freeman collectors. It's kind of crazy. It was on Twitter, and I grabbed it to trade for a Miggy that I needed, but then the guy backed out of the trade, so I kind of just stuck with it now. It's the 15 Finest.
Oh, okay.
Not my favorite design, but I thought it was cool.
Herman just passed out.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to get you all excited or late at night.
Yeah, now it's just going to be you. He's passed out. He can't even return the triple screen.
It's good to be back as the host.
Yeah, that's nice. You know what? How long ago did you pick that card up off Twitter? Because it seemed like I seen it on there.
You probably did, because it wasn't that long ago. It was like a month ago. And when I saw it, I'm like, this is perfect, because this dude had something that I really wanted to trade, and then he told me that he couldn't do it. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted to hear, man. I could have spent that money
because
a different way.
At the moment, the only and it's not a superfractor, but the only one of one Freeman that I have is actually and I honestly don't consider it a one of one, but it's the printing plate from last year's top base. They call it one of one, but to me, it's one of 5. So,
yeah, I'm kind of the same way with the plates, but
all right,
I think the plates are cool.
So another quick question off of the subject. So you mentioned that Freeman is you feel like he's a very under the radar but heavily collected guy. And I know that over the last couple of years on Twitter, I've been surprised at how many people. Oh, hey, we're all back. Any other guys you can think of off the top of your head that are kind of like that? Like it doesn't seem like you hear a lot about them, but they're very heavily collected.
Oh, that's a really good question. Let me think here.
And again, just because I know you're on Blowout, so you see a lot of different things than I do because I'm not there. You may have a little more experience as a seller. You see different things as a seller. Maybe you don't have anybody. I've been surprised at how many people collect George Brett. for whatever reason. There's like a good 4 or 5 guys that are heavy Brett collectors on Twitter.
Yep.
That's a good one. I think it's usually the guys where they're overshadowed for some reason, like because I think with the Braves, the Acuna collectors are much more vocal about it, so you don't hear as much about the guys. Mattingly is a good choice. He's popular, but I think it's people don't understand how like popular he is. Like my Don Mattingly section in my store, I think I might have like 4 cards in there, but I'm constantly running out of Don Mattingly stuff. Like people will pick up. It's not so much the base. Like he's not at the level where they buy base cards like Trout or Griffey or those types of guys, but more so like that second tier. Paul O'Neill is one too. That one is just I couldn't tell you why.
I know there are a couple of, and it seems like you kind of went with Yankees. I know there are a couple. I know of a couple of hardcore Bernie Williams collectors. So how many out there are there out there that I don't know? So definitely noticing some Yankee trends there. But again, those are all guys that are, like you said, are maybe a little under the radar. Murphy is another probably. Dale Murphy's probably another one. If we're going with the older guys specifically.
Those guys who kind of like they're Hall of Very Good players. You could make a case that they're Hall of Fame players. That's what I see a lot of them at. I'm trying to think in today's game who would be.
And I'm wondering if that's just because of a slight better level of affordability over a Hall of Fame, a Hall of Fame contemporary from that same era, so maybe that has something to do with it, where you're paying half for a Mattingly what you pay for, I don't know, somebody else from that era, whoever that may be.
Right. And that's the thing is that we all know this is that when someone gets in the Hall of Fame, prices go up. And the big part of that is because there is so many Hall of Fame collectors out there that you all of a sudden have this huge pool of people coming into your market basically and saying like, hey, we're interested in this guy's cards now too. So you have to compete against them, where otherwise it's more so of a cult following. So it is kind of a benefit. Will Myers, that's a good story. I gotta hang on one second. I'm gonna grab something. That's
Oh boy, he must have it hidden in a special place. He's got to turn the camera on.
He don't want anybody to know where that thing's at.
Yeah, sorry. I keep these in my underwear.
All right, Caesar.
So, I have these. And so my mom is a hairstylist. She doesn't work there anymore. But I live in the Cincinnati area. And back when Will Myers and Jake Odorizzi played for the Rays, they were in town, which you got to think the Rays coming into town for a National League team, that happens like once every 6 years. So they were in town once every 6 years here. And they actually went into her salon, which it's probably like 15, 20 minutes from the ballpark. So it's not like they were even really that close to get haircuts. So I have these 2 signed business cards that she got that one day. So Will Myers is a guy, like if I see his cards, like I might set them aside in like a binder or something. So
that is the epitome of oddball right there.
Yeah, these are one-on-ones.
Gotta love it.
All right, guys. Well, we done went over our hour threshold here, so I guess we're gonna go ahead and end it right here. JT, I appreciate you jumping on with us and enjoy talking.
Yeah, sorry for monopolizing the conversation.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, good stuff.
We opened it up for somebody to jump in, and you jumped right on in. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. Well, we'll be back next Monday, same time, same channel. We may do this again soon. We won't make it a weekly thing, but I figured it'd be nice to open it up for somebody every once in a while. But check us out next Monday. Follow me at 3B Collections. Follow Ken at B&B Card Blog on Twitter. And JT, yours is at Triple Crown 24. Is that right?
At ITS Triple Crown. But if anyone wants to put in a request to Twitter to get the guy who has the Triple Crown 24 username to release it to me, would be appreciated.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week, guys.
All right. Peace.
See you, JT.